Good Wednesday evening, listeners, and welcome to another edition of Conversations of a Sister here on my YouTube channel. I'm Tracy L. Bell. I'm your host, and I welcome you to tonight's commentary and tonight's conversation. If you would like to delve in or participate in this conversation, you can always chat. I'm not going to promise you I'm going to read the chat, but you can always chat. And toward the end of the commentary, I will acknowledge that chat. But I thank you for tuning in tonight on this beautiful Wednesday in the tri state area for tonight's commentary. And tonight I want to talk about why men don't reveal that they're married. How come men don't reveal that they're married? Now, before some of you brothers jump in my inbox saying that this is an attack on men, it is not. Because when I was talking to my friend this week, yesterday, day before yesterday, and today, I said to him, is it common amongst men that they don't reveal the fact that they're married when they meet women? And he said to me, absolutely. And I said to him, really? What's your take on that? He said, when women are married, they are excited. That's like their badge of honor. Women wear being married as a badge of honor. So right away, they're ready to flash their ring. They're ready to say, I'm married or I'm engaged because it solidifies the fact that they're spoken for, the fact that they have a man. So having a man and being married is a woman's badge of honor. However, the reason why he said men do not reveal their marital status is because their intent is to engage in extra marital affairs. Huh. So that means that if he is a cheater, he's also a liar. So let's dig into this because the reason why I brought the conversation up with him was because I received an email from one of my listeners and blog readers stating that she was into this man. And it was a man that she thought was single. And, a lot of times when I receive these emails, I don't necessarily start asking questions unless I need more to kind of gauge off of. So she kind of was pretty detailed. She said that she met him at the gym and they started talking. And she never knew that he was married. She said that he went to her house, she went to his house. There was never any pictures of women other than those women who were related to him, but there were like no real pictures of like him with a bride. So she didn't know he was married. She said the home looked like it was that of a single male. So she continued to date him. Of course, she was intimate with him. And she said that as things started getting heated, I guess maybe she fell for him and he didn't necessarily fall for her. He had to tell her that he was married. And she was like, oh, wow. She was like, okay. And my only question to her was, did you get upset? And she said, I was shocked. Now, see me, I probably would have burnt his house down because number one, you're deceitful. Number two, you lied to me. And number three, it's like you put me into your sin. Because, see, at the end of the day, it is he who has the covenant with God and his wife. So you dragged me in as a third party. That even goes in relationships. When you're in relationships and the partner that you're with, they cheat, it's like they're dragging you in like into like a third party type thing. And I think that the reason why she started telling me that his wife traveled, she think that's why he was able to conceal it was because his wife was, she was never at home because she traveled a lot. And I was like, okay, I get it, but that still does not justify being a whore on the side. Because at the end of the day, he was deceiving to her. He deceived her by having her believe that he was single. And on top of that, he was having sexual relationships with her, knowing that he was married. I thought that was a disgrace. So, why do men conceal the fact that they're married? And to be honest with you, I had to ask. I had to ask a man. That's why, ladies, I think that it's very important to have decent men in your life. Men that are going to tell you the truth. Men that are going to talk to you about game coming from other men. And this particular man in my life told me that the reason why men conceal the fact, some men conceal the fact that they are married is because they want to expand their dating pool. They want to be able to expand how they look to other women. So therefore, they don't tell other females that they're married. I think it's dirty. I think it's underhanded. And I also think that it's deceitful. And I said to her in the email when she told me about her situation, I was like, okay, did you go back and leave a note in the mailbox for the wife? Because I think I would have told the wife. I think I would have contacted the wife. I think I would have made sure the wife knew that he was messing with me. And I asked her, how long was she messing with this man or fooling around with this man? And she said it was well after 6 months. And the only reason why she think that he actually told her that he was married is because he recognized the fact that she was catching feelings for him. Isn't that something? I think it's downright dirty. And as I was reading her email, it's like I was getting angrier and angrier because I thought that that was deceitful to pull her in, to waste her time, and then to reveal the fact that you are married. I was like, where were you? Were you in a restaurant? Were you somewhere where you could have thrown wine at him or slapped him upside the head with a bottle? Yeah, I know it all sounds violent, but I think it's very deserving because at the end of the day, he's not only being deceitful to you, he's being deceitful to his wife. That's dirty. And that's pretty low down, is to keep something like that concealed while you are being deceitful. So my male friend also told me, he also said to me, Tracy, a lot of married men don't reveal the fact that they're married is because they want that excitement. They're seeking validation. Really? You should be getting that excitement at home. You should be getting that validation at home, not through women that you meet out in the gym or in this dating pool, because that is not cool. Let me tell you. So I went out with a guy one time who's married. Now, before y'all get all up, get your underwear twisted, I didn't know he was married, but check this out. He was so nice. The guy was nice. The guy was charming because everybody's gonna put on airs. The first time they meet someone. I don't do that because I'm me regardless. Anyway, when we sat down to dinner, because it was the perfect date, it was a perfect date. He was a perfect gentleman. And when we sat down to dinner, the first thing I said to him was, so are you married? Because I wanted to know. And the minute he put his head down, I knew that he was married. Now, why, when he put his head down, did I know that he was married? Was because he dreaded the fact that I had asked him the question. So let's say that, he didn't tell me he was married. Let's say that he told me he was single. I'm going to tell you why, like, I was already leery about him. And I don't mean leery to the point wherein I thought that he was insincere. It's just like, I don't know. I have like a spirit of discernment. And I just felt like, just to an extent, he was being sneaky because he traveled for work and he traveled to different states. And I remember things that my grandmother used to tell my mother. And they used to always say that a man is going to always have a hole to climb into. It doesn't matter where he is, he's going to always want to have a hole to climb into. And I felt like that this guy thought that I was going to be that hole. So I knew that I had to nip this in the butt because I am nobody's hole. I am nobody's anything. I'm not a HOLE, a HOLD, or a WHORE. I'm none of those. So therefore, we had to set this straight. Now, don't get me wrong. When he said that he was married, I wasn't compelled to get up to leave because, after all, I did meet him at the restaurant. I wasn't compelled to get up and leave. I was compelled to know more about his situation and why were you why were you seeking me? Like, you're married, like you're a married man. So he began to tell me that he was separated. Him and his wife had been separated for 5 years. He just hadn't gotten a divorce. And I said, well, guess what? The buck stops here because that's not good enough for me. Because in my eyes and in the eyesight of God, you are still a married man. And because you are still a married man, I am even disgusted by the fact that you think I'm beautiful and you find me attractive. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that when you get married, you're not dead. You're going to always see someone who's attractive, but you're not going to want to actually pursue it just because you see somebody attractive every day. I see attractive men every day, sometimes all day, that I think are attractive, but it doesn't mean that I want to go out with them. It doesn't mean that I want to accept every date with everybody because you're going to always find someone attractive. You may sometimes be attracted to that individual, but it doesn't mean that you should act on every attraction. You just shouldn't. Because I think that as individuals and as human beings, the difference between us and animals is our ability to have self control. So, nevertheless, back to the married man that I went out on a date with, I felt like I had to repent. I just felt horrible because I was thinking that here I am out to dinner with someone else's husband. I don't share men. Let's be clear. I don't share men. And I despise men who lie for the purpose of doing so because that is not me. I don't share men. I don't share boyfriends. I don't share husbands. I'm not into that. I'm not that type of female. I have respect for myself and respect for the other individual. So that's not something that I do. And I said to him, "You must apologize to your wife and tell her that you took me out on a date." He told me that they were estranged. He didn't really talk to her. He kind of alluded to the fact that she may have cheated on him. I'm not certain because he would not go into details because some men can't take when a woman cheat on them, but they can do it to a woman. Not saying that he has, but I could just tell it was a little bit of salt there still in the wound. I appreciated the fact that he told me that he was married. And although he was a nice looking gentleman, although the date was a perfect date, I knew deep down inside it was just a little bit too good to be true. And I'm sure he has some faults that I was not willing to find out about. Because after all, I don't care who you're going out with. Sooner or later, you're going to pop that hood. You're going to find out what's underneath. You're going to find out about all of the buried hidden treasures. But the fact that you have men who are married and not willing to reveal their marital status is the main reason why women today are just opting to be single because you have men who lie, You have men who are inconsistent. You have men who are married and not revealing the fact that it's all about game for them. And I feel bad because the young lady stated that she was in love with him. And she said, I dropped him where he told me. So wherever that was, I don't know if they were out to dinner. I don't know where they were. I didn't think to ask her that because based upon what she revealed, it really didn't matter. She said, I dropped him where he was. Now, don't get me wrong, it's some women who wouldn't care. They would go out with a married man because just like he want that validation, she wants that validation too. Just like she's avoiding relationship labor, he's probably avoiding relationship labor too. I think, and I'm going to always say, it is it always boils down to your self-worth. What do you think you deserve? What is your self-worth? Do you think that you deserve sloppy seconds? Do you think that you deserve to be some man's side piece or mistress? Do you think that? I know I don't. My mama didn't raise no mistresses, nor did she raise a fool. And I think that that is extremely important for women to remember because it's just like my friend said. He said to me, he said, the reason why women are quick to reveal the fact that they are married is because it is an honor to be some man's wife. That is an honor. That's just like the other week, I was watching the opening of the Obama Library. I think I caught it on the news or something. And I listened to the way that Michelle spoke about Barack. And she spoke about a man that she's taken a journey with, a man that she actually trusts. Because without trust, there is no respect. And without respect, there is no mutual grounds in a relationship. But she spoke so highly of her husband. And she said she was proud to have taken that journey with him. And I felt proud and I was excited just listening to her because she sounded as if she just loves her man. And when you see that type of love, you can't help but get excited because you feel that type of excitement. You know what that's like when you love a man to that caliber. And she actually loves Barack Obama like that. So she speaks highly of him. And I'm sure that Barack has had women come on to him because when he was in Jersey, when Mikey Sherrill, the governor of New Jersey, was running, some woman yelled something out to him. And I think she said, "Oh, I just love you." And he said, "I love you too." But he said, Michelle loves me as well. He was letting the woman know that that's the love of his life. Because he's like, Michelle loves me as well. That's exactly what he said. He's letting her know that he loves her wife. I like a man who is going to let women know that they are they are taken, that they are spoken for. I just like that. I think that that's special. I think it's special because you are proud of what you have. And if he or she is not proud of you, then why are you in it? It's like, why? It's like, why be in it? And I think, as far as married men not revealing the fact that they're married, I don't only think that is sneaky and deceitful. I just think that a lot of men lack accountability. I think that concealing a spouse allows them to maintain a double life. And you do have people living a double life. Hell, you have people living a double life and they're not even trying to cheat. Look at Rex Harriman, the man who had a serial killing going on in New York for many years. He killed all of these women, And all his wife could say was that he had a locked room in the basement. Can you imagine living in a house with a man and he has a locked room in the basement? And you say, I never went in the room. I never saw what was in the room because the room was always locked. Really? Do you know how weak that wife sounded? Can you imagine living in a house with your husband and he has a locked room in the basement? I think I would not have only busted the lock, I wouldn't have tolerated it. And look, he had a locked room, and the things that were found in that room revealed the fact that he was a serial killer. But this was a room that she said she never went in. And I mean, come on, sometimes you think, did she know, but was she just in denial? Because you have some women who just live in denial. But you have to be determined to know your spouse enough to know that you deserve the truth. You should always want the truth. So, one thing I make a practice when I meet someone, if I meet a male of the opposite sex, I always ask the question, are you married? Are you involved? Are you in a relationship? These are things that I want to know. Because if I find out something different later, that is what I am going to hold you to. I'm going to hold you to what you revealed in the beginning. And if it's not the same toward an end, we're going to have a problem. I don't say that as a threat. I say that as a standard. Because females, we have to raise our standards. Because when you don't raise your standards, men will expect anything from you. And that's not something that you want to do. So I think the one thing that I ended with when I responded to the young lady's email, and I'm sure she's tuning in tonight, is that this is a lesson learned. I think she has to take it as a lesson learned. You don't stop dating, you don't stop meeting, because after all, it's like it's a way of life. Do what you must to get back on track, but take it as a learning lesson to always verify someone's relationship status so that there are no surprises midway. Because 6 months is basically midway. And although you went to his house and although you saw no signs of the fact that he was married, I still think that it's a question that should have come up because someone can easily say, you never asked me. You never asked if I was married. So because you never asked, I just never mentioned it, you know? And even if you don't ask, I think that is something that you need to reveal, you know? A lot of times, my girlfriends that are married, when a man approaches, that's the first thing they say is, I'm married. Oh, that's nice, I'm married. She's not, but I'm married. Oh, that's sweet, that's available. She's available, but I'm married. So it's something that I know that women see as a badge of honor because they have their men, they have a man to say, I have a man. No, thank you. I'm married. I have a man at home. No, thank you. And what you have in a marriage should be better than anything that you are going to meet while you're out in the streets. And if it is not, you should have never gotten married because that means that you are still searching. You are still looking to keep your options open. You are still looking for relationships to validate, I don't know, who you are as a man. I don't know. You're seeking excitement? Really? I wish my man would tell me that, oh, I'm keeping my options open to seek excitement. I give him excitement, all right. Oh, he get some excitement because that's not something that you do. I think that when you are committed, you are committed. And if you are committed in the courtship, you are going to be committed in the marriage. And if you are not committed in the marriage, then you were not committed in the courtship. And if you feel as though you have to meet women and not tell them that you're married, That means that you are not ready to be married. By golly, just divorce her. That's why I was like, I don't know. I would have told his wife because the wife needs to know. She might not appreciate it. She might not like it because she wants to live in denial, but I would still tell her because I would let her know that I was in this position and this is what he did to me. So, can you imagine how many women might have been before her? I can't. I wouldn't even want to. So, why do married men not want to reveal the fact that they're married? It's because they want to keep their options open. And single ladies, keep your options open as well. Learn and know how to ask the right questions in, aside, and out of relationships so that this way there are no ambiguities. Everybody knows everybody's status because when it comes down to it in the end, you don't want anybody saying, oh, you didn't ask. That's easy. It's so easy, especially when you don't want to be held accountable. And we have to have accountability because with no accountability, there can be no correction. I thank you for tuning in tonight. Join me for next week's conversation on Conversations of a Sister. Don't be afraid to like, share, and subscribe to my channel because I have great point of views. Well, I don't think everybody like my point of views, but it doesn't stop me from revealing them. It doesn't stop me from sharing them. And it dang on sure doesn't stop me from conversating about it. My friend told me the other night, he was like, you can conversate with basically anybody. He's right. I'm a stickler for conversation. It's some conversations that I don't like having or are uncomfortable having, but people send those questions to me anyway. And, I look at all of them and I choose my assistant and I which ones we are going to address. So each week is something different based upon what individuals share. And trust me, the sharing can be very, very personal. And sometimes I have to reach out to some of the male men in my life in order to get a male's perspective, in order to understand my own. And I appreciate them. But anyway, Conversations of a Sister, thank you for tuning in. Tune in next week. In the meantime, like and subscribe. If you like and subscribe, you'll always know when I'm conversating. You'll always know when I have something I want to talk about because I could pop up at any second. In the meantime, and in between time, have a great day, have a great evening, and I'll see you next week.